So you just dropped 40 bucks on a Steam sale and you're looking at a new game, Gary Grigsby's War in the East, and you really have no idea what you're doing. So here it is, the absolute basics to Gary Grigsby's War in the East. So once you fire the game up, the first thing you're looking at is a screen right here. Axis Human. Soviet computer, difficulty easy. Go to pick scenario and you are looking for Road to Minsk. 3 turns long. It's going to show you the absolute basics, and it's not going to get you bogged down in a whole lot. And at the same time, it's going to give you a lot of cool things that you get to try. The Veliki Luki tutorial is kind of boring. The Russians aren't all that powerful, and the Germans are pretty well trashed. So here we have the beginning of Operation Barbarossa. We've got panzer divisions, armies up in the north, Brest-Litovsk in the south, some HQs, but first we're going to start with the basic unit type. So we zoom in and you'll see you've got the X's, infantry divisions, ovals, panzer divisions, the 2 dots, motorized divisions. If you noticed, if you hover over it, it'll give you some unit details. You can see here we have the 20th Motorized Division and the 39th Panzer Corps. We'll get into more of the details a little bit later on. The colors that you see are to help you determine the units in the headquarters. If you hit Shift Z and then select the headquarters, you'll start seeing where you get little lines. This can be really helpful when you start getting a unit spread out and you want to know who is exactly. That's a good one here. You can see who's tied to who. The guys in red, out of supply range. About all you need to know right now. As we go further down, you'll start seeing 3 dashes. This is a regiment. 2 X's is a division. Single X is a brigade. The more X's you get tend to be headquarters. So there you have a corps, and here you have an army. If you go above the army, you are going to start getting, so that goes to Army Group Center, which is now about the biggest unit that you'll see in the game. One other thing worth noting here, this is a rail repair unit. Later on, they're going to be really important for repairing the rail lines as you advance into Russia. The other thing you notice is on the unit itself, you see a 9-16. The 9 is the combat value, the 16 is the movement value. If we get into our panzer divisions, you can see this one has a combat value of 20 and a movement value of 50. Depending where you're moving and what is around it will cost more movement. Units exert a zone of control in the 6 hexes around them. So for example, if you wanted to move this panzer division right next to an enemy unit, it's going to require a lot more movement points than if you're trying to move it through a big hole that's been punched. It can cover a lot of ground. You can kind of see it right here. You get, it doesn't take much to get to that point, but once you got to start going by the units, you can see right to the left of Konus, it goes from 29 to 21 and then 13. Get across that river, costs us 11 more. So if we look on the upper right hand corner, these are our soft factors, little triangles up here. So right now we're looking at supply. Green is good. Click it again, fuel. Again, green is good. We have units attached. No soft factor. Morale. Experience. Supply is a pretty good one to keep it on. That's going to be where you're sitting for the most of these scenarios. If we go up to the top, that's movement. Plain old regular movement. We have movement by rail. Naval transport amphibious you won't use so much. Air recon though, first thing you should know, just hit it and you can activate the AI to run the missions for you. You'll see a whole bunch of stuff pop up. Now in this turn the Germans get a significant bonus to just about everything. So you can also bomb airfields because, hey, the Russians didn't exactly know the Germans were coming, and you can completely and totally trash what's left of the Red Air Force. Further on, we have air transport mode. This will allow you to drop fuel and supplies. Becomes very important when your panzer divisions get too far ahead of the supply train. F10 will show reports. We can see where recon missions happened, where bombing missions, where battles happened. Then we have end turn. I like to turn on toggle enemy hexes, toggle fort levels, and then unit modes. That'll give you a pretty good idea what's going on. For the moment, we're not going to get into anything else beyond that. So, now we want to punch a hole. One thing a lot of people ask is, how do I attack with multiple units? So right off the bat, we are going to take and knock out the Soviet 128th Division. Remember I said I want to make a nice hole so that my panzers can get through. So you select the units you want, you hold down Shift, you mouse over the neighboring units, and now you see in the upper right, you get a whole list, and now you're going to right click, and you just did a very powerful attack with 4 infantry divisions. Let's look at the report. This will kind of tell you what happened. So we attacked with the 8th Infantry, the 28th, the 161st, and then you get to see a whole bunch of support units. Again, we'll get into that at another time. Combat value modified up to 896 compared to a Russian combat value of 2.1. Now the big thing, you defeated and destroyed, enemy lost 2,209 men, which means roughly 6,000 Soviet troops got blasted somewhere back here. Right now I'm not too terribly worried, but down the road this will become a problem, because the big goal as the Germans is not only to destroy, but also to make sure that nobody escapes. Manpower is your biggest enemy as the Germans, because the Russians will just keep throwing units at you. Now we can move up again, we can knock out the fortified region, and now we have a really nice hole for these panzers to go through. So we've got all these units trapped right here. Your goal in this scenario is, 1, to take Minsk, but also to learn how to get this real nice encirclement going. So that is what we're going to do. Now, as you know, we have panzer divisions down in the south. We've got some in the north. So we are going to move them right over here. Now, you may want to attack, but if your headquarters are within range, you run a good chance of having headquarters support with those units. Now, we won't go too much further from that. Beyond that, you'll also see different colors of units. The brown is the Soviets. All the gray backgrounds we have here are the Germans. The black background is an SS unit, in this case the Das Reich SS Motorized Division. You'll see a black and a gray with that is a non-elite SS unit. For example, cream colored is the Slovakians, yellow are the Italians. You'll see more as you get the Hungarians and the Romanians into it as well. Pretty much keep your units so that everybody's nice and blue, which means they're in supply, because when they're out of supply, bad things happen. For now, that's where we're going to keep it, and we're going to tackle some more topics on Gary Grigsby's War in the East later. Thank you very much, and please let me know in the comments what you think and what you'd like me to tackle. Good luck.